Hi guys, my name is Daryl, and continuing on with my demonstration of the Master Series, today I'd like to show you the exercises that are in Volume 4. Now Volume 4 is a great program. This is the introduction to compound sets and triple splits. And if you want to learn more about that and how the program is actually designed and how to actually do the program, you'll find that information in my book, Invincible. So just like the other volumes, I'm only going to demonstrate the exercise. I'm not going to go into the detail of the exercise with the sets, the reps, the cadence, and tempo, and explaining the nuances of the program. You'll get all that information in the book. And if you don't have a copy of the book, I suggest that you can either go to Amazon.com or you can go to my own personal website at www.darylcohen.com and you can pick up a copy there. So now I'd like to demonstrate the exercises that are in Volume 4. Okay, now guys, I'd like to go through the exercise in Volume 4. So for this particular exercise, guys, you can use, there's a couple of options. You can use the strap, which I'll use that and demonstrate in a minute, or we can use just the straight bar. Now this bar is designed from Vince, and so this is what Vince would use. It had this sort of this triangle, but you can use a regular straight bar. But this one's nice because it has this little indentation here so that you can pull back and you don't have to worry about hitting your nose as you're coming through the bar, I guess. And so what you want to do here, you want to set the cable up to 16 inches. So you make sure the pulley is at 16 inches. And then you want to use some type of a platform. I like to use an aerobic step because it has a little beveled angle here so that you can put your feet on and allow it to press against so you don't slide forward. And then what you do is you're going to come back. And we're going to start with the knees slightly bent. And you're going to get down nice and low, heads down between the arms. Keep your elbows slightly bent so you don't go all the way straight. And that way it'll keep the synapse turned on at all times so that you get good recruitment and electrical current to the muscle at all times. So you want to keep the elbow slightly bent, head down between the arms to start. And then we're going to pull first. So you're going to pull in, and then we're going to come up into an arched position here. And you're going to look up toward the ceiling, bring the chest up, and then you come back down nice and slow. And so you come in, elbow slightly bent, pull, and then just about when the bar is about to hit your head, that's when you'd pull up, and then you contract. You really pinch your scapulas together here. And then you come back nice and slow. So you exhale, then come up and contract, then come back in nice and slow. Inhale, and exhale, contract, then come in nice and slow. Inhale, and you pull back, elbows back, keep them up, and then contract. Inhale, bend forward, elbow slightly bent. Exhale, pull in first, and then as the bar gets closer to the head, that's when you lift up and you contract, pinch your scapulas together. Inhale, exhale, contract. You go to that vertical position, no need to go back any further, so you come back in, you exhale, and then hit the vertical position and contract, and then come back nice and slow. Exhale. Contract, hold for 1 to 2 seconds, and then come back down nice and slow in the negative. Exhale. And then come in nice and slow. So that's what it looks like with the handle, and this is what it looks like with the strap. Now, just like we did on the concave, remember on the short row, concave row, you put your hands in just a little differently. You put them inside the strap, you hold on to the strap. So you're going to hold that same position here as we do the arch short pull. So it's hands go through, you're going to grab hold of the strap, get back in position. Same idea, elbows are slightly bent, head down between the arms. And then as you pull in, it's the same idea. You're going to bring the hands right close to the ribs, then inhale. Exhale, pull. Then arch, contract, so you bring your chest up. Contract and inhale, come back down. Exhale. Contract, hold for 1 to 2 seconds, and come back nice and slow. Exhale. And then inhale. Exhale. Contract, come back nice and slow. Then exhale. And back nice and slow. So those are the two variations of the arch short pull. Now again, this is a little different than obviously the concave. The concave is going to hit more the teres major when you go that position here when you're staying in a concave position. This one's going to isolate and actually hit the middle upper back. As you come in, you're going to arch the back, contract. So you're going to bring the scapulars. You're pinching the scapulars together. Then you're going to get a really deep contraction. You'll feel it right in the middle line of the back. So it really brings out the taper, but also kind of helps give some more density into the middle of the back. So it's a great exercise, and you want to go nice and controlled. Elbows are slightly bent, head down between the arms. Pull first, so you're pulling, and then just as the bar or the hands are getting close to your head, that's when you lift your head up, and then you continue to pull all the way back, touching either the bar to the low sternum, or the handle straps are going to go to the side of the chest. And so it's a great exercise. It's one that once you kind of get used to it, it really isolates, and you can really get a great pump to the back. And guys, that is the arched short pull. Yeah. All right guys, now I'm going to demonstrate the overhead pull down, otherwise known as the arched back pull down. Now you want to use a straight bar, and you want to have obviously a cable lap pull down machine. So you want to grab the bar. You don't want to grab it down on the low part. You want to get it just above where the bumps are. You're going to sit down. Now you're going to lean forward into it. So a lot of people will be back here doing it. That's no good. So you want to lean forward, and then you're going to, as you begin to pull down, you're going to keep the elbows back, and the chest is going to come up toward the bar. So you're going to come here, and you're going to pull down, and then just about when the bar is about to hit the head, that's when you're going to pull your chest up, and then pull the bar down to the low pectoral line. And then you come back up, inhale, and we're going to go nice and smooth, going back into that forward position. So it's going to be an exhale, elbows back, pull down, and then contract as hard as you can, bringing the bar down to the low pectoral line, and then come back up. Inhale, and then exhale, pull, pull, chest comes up, and you pull down into the back, get an extreme, intense contraction, then come forward. Then you exhale, the elbows back, chest is up, low pectoral line, and then come back in. Inhale, and then come back, and right there, and then come back up. So the key is when you're pulling down, the back, the scapulars are beginning to catch, and then they retract and then depress. And that's the key to developing that real intense contraction in the back. So when you do this, you want to lean forward, and then your elbows are back, pulling down, contracting, retract the scapulars, then depress them down, and then touch the bar to the low pectoral line. When you do it correctly, the contraction is really, really intense. You won't be able to lift a lot of weight when you do this exercise, so I always recommend cutting the weight down maybe in about half of what you normally would use, because when you do it correctly, like with all of Vince's exercises, they become very, very difficult to complete a full set. So always start light when you're doing a new exercise, but when you do it like this, your back will just, it will blow up. It'll be an incredible pump to the back. So that's the overhead pull down. Okay, now guys, I'm going to show you the neck press. This is one of the signature moves from Vince, and it's one of the more controversial exercises. It's challenges the chest in a different way than just doing a regular chest press. When you do the regular chest press, like the Olympic bar, the idea is that you bring the bar down, but then your elbows drop down below your shoulders, so they're down lower, and that causes a problem. That's going to activate more of the anterior deltoid, and that's what Vince always believed. So he came up with the idea of this neck press to eliminate the anterior deltoid from activating throughout the entire motion. So this is the neck press, and again, it's not for everybody. Some people that don't have enough flexibility in their shoulders might have discomfort when they do this exercise, and so I always say, just don't do it. You know, go to dumbbells and do something that you can do, that you can handle, and don't force yourself to do something you can't do. But it's a great exercise. I've been doing this for over 32 years, and I haven't had any problems with it. When you do the neck press, now the idea is that you're actually coming down just above, at the base of the neck, right on the clavicle line, and you're gonna get a really deep stretch to the pectorals. And so what it does, it really stretches the pecs, because the way the attachment of the pecs are, they're in the humerus, and then they attach to the sternum and the ribs and up in the clavicle area. So it's like a little triangle. And so we want to get as much stretch as we possibly can, so that the muscle fibers can get as much stretch. And so the pronation of the muscle fibers are actually going toward the origin. So you're going to go toward the humerus. And so everything's kind of going in that direction. So we want to kind of keep that contraction in that same fashion. So this is what the neck press does. So what you want to do is lie down, and you want to bring your feet up so that you don't use your legs. And then you're going to open up your hands just about, so you want to be about 90 degrees here. And I'm actually going to show you two different variations. The first one, this one's from Vince Gironda. And the next one I'm going to show you is from Larry Scott. So the first one we do is just going to come off the bar. Then you're going to come down, again, all the way down to the neck, right into the notch of the clavicle. And then you're going to exhale, and you push up. And as you're pushing up, you want to exhale, inhale. Now you can, when you're coming up, get the stretch here, elbows out wide, keep the elbows back, and then you exhale. Now you can also bring your head up and follow the contraction. So you get a little bit deeper contraction as you bring your head up, and then you come back down, inhale, exhale, and really contract. You can really get the tension through the pectorals as you come up, and lift your head up, contract, really squeeze the chest, and then come back down, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And then what you do is you hold and you pause for about 2 to 3 seconds at top to get a really strong contraction, and come down slow. Exhale. And then inhale. And exhale. So that first variation, that's Vince's style, where you go to like about a little bit past shoulder width apart, and you come down almost in a 90-degree position on the arms, all the way down to the chest. You're going to get a tremendous stretch through the pectorals. This is the way I learned from Larry Scott. Larry, and actually works better for me. I like this one better, just for my own personal preference. But Larry Scott said to turn the elbows out wide, and you want to use your hand to get better bone support, so you get more leverage to push up, and still going to get the same idea on the chest, but it just allows you to have more power. So you come off, so your elbows are turned in, like so, and then you come down, and then you push. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale.
Inhale. And exhale.
So the two different variations. One is the Vince style, where you're just coming down and the arms are relatively 90 degrees coming down to the stretch. The elbows stay back. And that's where the controversy is, because when you keep your elbows back like this and you're coming down, if you don't have strong enough pecs or your shoulders flexibility is poor, you're gonna get a tremendous strain in the joint. The capsule is you're gonna feel like it's gonna be really hard to maneuver that. And so you're gonna wanna bring your elbows down and then drive the weight up. As soon as you do that, you're gonna transfer the tension from your pectorals to your anterior deltoid, and then you're gonna kind of lose out on the exercise. Some guys can't do this particular exercise just because, again, they don't have the flexibility in the shoulders to do it. But if you can do it, you want to try both variations. You want to try Vince's 90 degrees, see how that feels for you, and then try Larry Scott's with the hands turned in. So when you turn your hands in, you're essentially bringing the elbows out, and they stay in that locked position. So it's much harder to drop the elbows down. Even when you do Vince's style, there is a tendency to drop the elbows down. So Larry said that by creating more power and more leverage by turning the elbows and keeping the bone support directly on the bar, so you're pushing more with the thumb support going up like this right here, rather than just holding on with the bar. And so you'll feel it more. You're not going to be holding on so much. So this way you're going to get more power, and you're going to be able to drive that weight up, and you get a tremendous pump to the chest. Personally, I think it's way better than the Olympic chest press. I think the Olympic chest press, I've never done it. I tried it one time when I first started weight training, and I just never got any benefit from it. And then once I started doing the neck press, I really started to see a difference in my chest and my development. So this is a great exercise. Again, I've been doing it forever, and haven't had any problems with it. So it's one of those things. If it works for you, do it. If it doesn't work, then find something that does work. But this is how Vince taught me, and Larry Scott taught me, and those are the two legends. And so I trust them pretty well. So, guys, that is the famous neck press. Okay, guys, now this is the flat bench dumbbell fly. Now it's very similar to the incline fly that we did before, but we're gonna do, this one's gonna, obviously the bench is flat on this one, and you wanna bring your feet up, keep your feet up. That way you just don't use your legs at all. And so what you're gonna do here is start with the dumbbells to the side of the body. You're gonna press them up, and now as you go down, we're gonna get into a stretch position here. So the idea is to bring your head up. So you wanna bring your head up so you get a stretch to the pectorals, and then you're gonna exhale and bring your head back down as you contract. And you touch all the bells together, and then you come back down, you inhale, head's gonna go up, stretch, and then exhale. And inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So when you're going down, you're gonna open up, elbow is bent, and then you're gonna get a good stretch here. Keep the head up, stretch the pectorals, and then exhale. Bring your head down and really contract the chest. So when you get up here and hold it for 1 to 2 seconds, you're contracting as hard as you can. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, stretch, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And then inhale, exhale. So the key points here are keeping your legs up, and then as you're going into that fly position, elbows are slightly bent. You're lifting your head up to get a really good stretch to the pectorals. You'll feel it right from the sternum, all the way up into the clavicle. When you lift your head up, you get a really deep stretch. And then as you contract, you're bringing the fibers closer together, and you're really focusing on bringing them to the midline, and you hold the dumbbells for 1 to 2 seconds and really contract as hard as you can. So you're not going to the point where you're relaxing. You never relax on any of these exercises. So when you go up, you're going into that forceful contraction. You're holding it just as if you're posing. You just hold that and contract. And so when you're doing the same thing here with the dumbbell fly, you come up, you're gonna hold the dumbbells and really contract as hard as you can, and then you release. So you're keeping constant tension on the muscle at all times. You wanna exhale as you go up. Guys, that is the flat bench, dumbbell, chest fly. Okay, now guys, I wanna show you another interesting exercise. It's called the front and back press. And what you're gonna do is, it's best to use it on a Smith machine. You can do it on a free bar. You can do it with an Olympic bar, like just a free weight movement. But I really prefer the Smith machine just because, one, you don't need a spotter, and it's a lot safer, especially if you are lifting by yourself, you don't have someone to help you. Because when you're getting into some of those positions, you wanna make sure you can get back up on the last one. So this one requires, again, some shoulder flexibility and obviously shoulder strength. But again, if it's one of those exercises that does not feel comfortable for you, then I would just totally omit it. But it's a great exercise, and it really hits the entire range of the deltoids. So what you want to do is going to get underneath. I'm going to start with the bar down at the low pectoral line, and then you're going to push it up, and then you're going to just go just above the head, and then you're going to come down as far down as you can onto your back. So almost down to the low trapezius line, and then you're going to exhale, push up, and you just enough to get the head under, and you come back down, and you go up, get the head under, and then come all the way back down as far as you can, and then up. So you exhale as you go up, and go all the way down. And so this one, again, requires a little bit of, you definitely want to go light. And it doesn't take much to really activate. You don't have to crank out a lot of weight on this one because there's so much to it. And once you start sort of going up and over, it's going to create a lot more kinetic energy in the muscle. And that by itself is going to increase the intensity. And that's the goal of this one. Again, you don't use heavy weight, and go nice and smooth, and you exhale, bring the bar just enough over the head, you get the head underneath, bring it all the way back down as far as you can, depending on your flexibility, and then push it right back up and over. And so the thing about this exercise is that you're never taking your shoulder or your deltoid to the point of impingement. When you do an overhead press, when you do that standard overhead press like this, there's a chance of developing an impingement syndrome, and this does not allow for the deltoid to really go up into that point of impingement, because you're just pushing up just far enough and then coming down. So it's only going up like a circle, like a semicircle, just like this. So you're never really hitting that impingement point, and that's what's so brilliant about this exercise. And I think that's what Vince was so great at, was to try to figure out the best movements for these muscles without causing joint stress to the point where there was damage. And that's why when I first did this exercise, I like to analyze all of Vince's things. And when I started doing this one, it just made sense to me, because rather than, I used to always go up to the military press, and after a couple of times doing it, I'd always have sore shoulders and almost like an aggravation where it was uncomfortable. And so as soon as I started doing this particular exercise like this, or all these exercises for the shoulder, it reduced the impingement, and I never had any shoulder issues. And so this one really works well. Again, you have to go really easy, and then again, focus on coming down to the low sternum, exhaling, getting your head underneath, and then getting the elbows back and then down and then driving back up and over. It's a great exercise once you get used to it. And guys, that is the front and back press. Okay, now guys, I'm going to demonstrate the 90-degree laterals. It's the same thing as the seated laterals, which I've demonstrated before. Vince would sometimes just call it the 90-degree laterals. So he always had a couple different names for the same exercises. So that's just how it goes. But this is how it looks. You want to sit at the edge of the bench. You want to start with the dumbbells underneath, touching all the bells together. Then you're going to start like this, and then you're going to raise up 90 degrees, and then come back down. So you inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So when you're doing this one, when you're going up, you want to turn the pinkies just a little bit higher than the thumb. And you just keep it just a little bit in front of you. So as you're going up, just to here, and then come back down. You don't want to throw them back. I see a lot of guys actually do that. It's no good because it displaces the tension somewhere else, and it's not on the deltoids. It's going to end up hurting yourself. So you come up, you're going to exhale, and you turn the pinkies up just a little bit higher than the thumbs, and you want to hold that position for about 1 second, 1 to 2 seconds, and come back down. And nice and controlled, and you touch the dumbbells underneath you, raise up, good control, and then come back down. So the laterals really emphasize the lateral head of the deltoids, and you get a really nice sweep to the deltoids, and that's a great exercise. It's one of my favorite ones to do. Guys, that is the 90-degree lateral raise. Okay guys, now I'd like to show you the supine dumbbell tricep extension. You want to go on a flat bench, so you're going to lie down, bring your feet up, and you want to bring your head so that it can get over the bench like this. So you want to be able to get down so your head just is at the edge of the bench, and you can actually kind of contour to the of the bench. And then you're going to come up with your dumbbells, and then we're going to go down behind our head as far as you can so that the dumbbells are behind you. Keep the elbows in close, and then you're going to extend right back into the starting position. Then you come back down, you inhale, stretch, exhale. Now what you want to do is when you come up, you want to drive the elbows up and then just a little bit forward so that the dumbbells actually will end up almost about 70 degrees rather than straight up 90 degrees. So you're going to be here. So you come down, stretch underneath the bench, exhale, and then contract. Then inhale, stretch, exhale, and then contract hard here. Hold it for 1 to 2 seconds, come back down, inhale, bring the dumbbells behind your head, underneath the bench, exhale, drive the elbows, and then extend 70 degrees, hold the contraction, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, underneath, exhale, and then release. So this is a great exercise for really isolating the triceps. It just takes a little practice. It's not one of my favorite ones. It's a good one, but to be honest with you, it's not one of my favorite tricep exercises that I learned from Vince. It's a little awkward to get used to because you kind of feel like, I don't know, for me it just doesn't have as much control when I do, especially with heavier weight. But it's a great exercise. I prefer doing it with a barbell, but that's just my own preference. Some guys do this and they love it, and that's one of their favorites. But for me, it's always been, when Vince would write this up for me, I'd always kind of be like, oh, but I stuck with it. But it just wasn't one of my favorite exercises to do. But that's how you do it. So your head's over the bench, and you get a really good stretch, and you will get a tremendous stretch to the triceps as you're bringing the dumbbells down behind you. And then as you come up, you drive the elbows, so you're getting the triceps to engage, and you're driving the elbows, and then you go into that sort of that 70-degree position. So it's like you're creating that leverage point, and then you contract, and you'll get a really deep contraction. It really does work, but just not one of my favorites. So guys, that is the supine dumbbell tricep extension. Okay, now guys, I'd like to show you the power push down. Now this one requires just a straight bar, and you want to hold the bar just a little bit narrower than the shoulder width. So just a little bit. You don't want to be too far out. You don't want to be way in on this one. There is another exercise that you do with the triangle bar that you would actually be all the way in. So not to confuse that one with the power push down. So the power push down is going to be just a little different. You're going to keep your hands just slightly inside the shoulder width. And we're going to start the bar at the low pec line. And so you're in this position, so the elbows are actually back. And then we're going to go ahead and push down. And as we push, you're going to try to keep the bar close to the body. And then you're going to push down here to this position. And you come back up. Now, you're also going to bend the knees as you're going down. So it's a little bit different than just your regular tricep press down. This is going to allow more power, and you can use a lot more weight when you do this. And so you start here, and then you're going to push down, and you bend your knees, and then come back. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Now I'm not using a lot of weight, I don't know if you know. So on this one, you can really bring up the weight a lot more than if you were just doing your regular standard tricep press down, because this allows you to have more power for your triceps, and they're a very strong muscle group. And so what it does, rather than when you just do your tricep press down like this, it just really kind of puts too much stress on that tendon around the elbow joint. And so you really have to kind of negotiate that first before you actually engage and get the full capacity of the triceps contraction. So when you have your elbows back and you're pushing down this way, it's more tricep and less on the tendon in terms of having to bring the tendon around the joint and pull down. So this one really gets into more power. So you start with the bar, the low pec line. You're going to start to push. Elbows are back to start. You push down, and you're going to bend the knees, and then you come back. You exhale, and then you come back in. Exhale. And so it's an awesome exercise once you finally get it down, because it takes a little practice. But once you get it, it's going to be one of your favorite tricep exercises. It's one of mine. And it's just so much fun to do because you're really kind of getting into it. And it's just not your basic, boring tricep press down. And you're going to save your elbow joint. And that's how it works. Guys, that is the power push down. Now, guys, I'm going to show you the palm up dumbbell incline bicep curl to the armpit. And then we're going to grab the dumbbells. I like to cross my legs. Vince always said to cross his legs, so something I've always done. So you don't necessarily have to cross your legs, but the idea of keeping your legs crossed, that it just keeps the dumbbells out of the path. So if you're down here with your feet down, sometimes you can hit the dumbbells to the legs. So it's just a habit that I've always done. And also Vince told me to do it, so if he told me to do it, then I'm doing it. Anyways, that's how I do it. Been doing it for 30 some odd years. Okay. So now, you're going to grab the dumbbells. When we do this, guys, we're going to curl up, keeping the dumbbell close to the body, curling up, palms up, and we're going to keep the elbows down. Never bring the elbows up. As soon as you do that, you're going to lose the engagement of the full capacity of the bicep contraction, you're going to transfer some of it into the deltoid. We don't want that. So I'm going to keep it down low, and we're going to stretch, and then you're going to curl. Bring the dumbbell all the way up so the inner bell hits right up into the armpit. And you come down. Now, as you're coming down with this dumbbell, the other one begins to come up. So it goes like this. You want to look at the bicep as you're curling, and then you come down, contract, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now, the key here is as you're going down with one dumbbell, the other dumbbell's coming up. This is very important. I've seen guys do it, and they'll be like one at a time like this. And that doesn't have the same engagement. To keep the nervous system kind of engaged at all times, you want to keep the tension in both arms. So you're going back and forth, almost like a seesaw pattern, and that really lights up the nervous system. When you come down and you stop, you have to, just for that split second, you're causing the nervous system to relax. And you don't want that. You don't want to have to start the synapse over again. You want to be able to keep the synapse on so the muscle is completely engaged, meaning that the action potentials are totally firing on the muscle at all times. And so you don't have any delay in that. And so by going back and forth, you're keeping the tension, you're keeping the muscle engaged, you're keeping your nervous system engaged, you're keeping your brain engaged. So it really allows you to get the most concentration and the best focus and the best contraction on the bicep. And so you kind of go into when you do these exercises, Vince always used to tell me to almost like go into like a meditative state. And it really works. And you really become like so focused that you're not aware of anything around you. And you're totally into the exercise. And once you kind of get into it, you go into a sort of like a Zen-like state. And you really get a tremendous pump to the muscle, as well as it allows you to stay completely focused on the task at hand. And I see so many people just messing around in the gym, and they don't really get anywhere. They're just kind of doing their thing, and they're distracted. They're looking in the mirror. They may be looking at themselves in the mirror, and that's a huge distraction. What you want to do is you want to focus. You want to look at the muscle, rather than look at yourself in the mirror and get all turned on by your look. We don't want that. I want you to focus on what you're doing, and you're looking at the muscle here, and you're focusing, and you're going to this side, and that's what you want. So you want to create that mind-muscle connection, and that's going to help engage the muscle much greater, and also it keeps you in the zone so that, one, you don't get distracted, two, you don't turn off the synapse, and three, it just allows you to get a greater pump, and then you can actually see your elbows, so that you're not going to be flaring it up here like this. So you can really focus on keeping that down by looking at it. You'd know if you're raising it up to force that elbow down, almost down and back, and so you're getting way more contraction and hitting more muscle fibers when you keep that elbow back. Guys, that is the palm up incline dumbbell curl. All right, guys, now I'm going to show you the bent over peaking bicep curl. This requires just a straight bar. Now, it's very simple. What you want to do is you want to get down to a low position here. So you can actually start with the bar actually at the base of your ankle here, so it's kind of tucked in there. And you want your elbows to the inside of your knees. So you're going to get a little leverage here. And then you're going to hold the barbell with your false grip. So you're going to put your thumb on the same side as the fingers. And again, we're going to
Keep the elbows pressed to the inside of the knees. And we're going to keep the chin up and away. And we're going to exhale. And then come right underneath your chin. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And back down. So the key to this one is just staying in a bent down position, starting with the barbell right at the base of the ankle. Then you keep the elbows pressed to the inside of the knees. And all you're going to do is just curl up, bring the bar all the way up to your underneath your chin. Then come back down. Now this is a very isolating exercise. It's a great peaking exercise. You're going to get a tremendous pump doing this one. You don't need a lot of weight. So it's just a really great exercise. So guys, that is the bent over peaking barbell curl. Now guys, I'm going to show you the barbell incline bench wrist curl. And what you're going to do is you want to set up the bench so that the high end is 10 inches on a box of some sort. This is the original bench from Vince's gym, so he had this little platform that he could just put the bench up on, which made it a lot easier. And that's what I'm using now. So what you do is grab the barbell and you want to break the wrist off the edge of the bench here. So you want to support yourself, and then you're supporting your arms with your legs here. So you're going to stay nice and tight to the bench. You're going to roll the bar down the fingertips, and then you're going to just curl up the wrist first and then contract all the way into the position here by exhaling, and then inhale. And then you're going to roll up, contract, and then get as tight as possible. So you're going to go down, inhale, and then exhale, curl all the way up, and get that hard contraction, then inhale. You can lean into it as you're curling up. Contract, and then you lean back, stretch, and then exhale, contract. Inhale, and then exhale. Contract, inhale. Roll the bar down the fingertips, and then you're going to curl up, cock the wrist, and then contract, hold for 1 to 2 seconds, and then release, come back down the fingertips. And you exhale, you curl up, contract, and inhale, come back just to stretch, and then exhale, and contract. Back down. And guys, that is the barbell incline bench wrist curl. Okay guys, now I want to show the thumb up wrist curl. Now this one, going to use dumbbells. So the front of the dumbbell is pressed down. Keep the elbows close to the body, and then you're going to curl this up. And as you're curling, you're going to now take the front of the dumbbell and touch the deltoids here. So now the back bell is higher and at the front of the movement. And you come back down, point the dumbbells down, exhale to the deltoid, keeping the elbows in, then come back down, point the dumbbells down, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, point them down, exhale, curl them up, touch the front to the deltoids, and then back down. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, Inhale. So it looks like this to the front. Press the dumbbells down. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Now, the key here is to point the dumbbells down, keep the elbows close to the body, curl up, and as you come up, you're turning the front of the dumbbell down to touch the deltoid. What I do is when I return the weight back down, so I'll look up. So what I do is I go up, and I'll look up here, and then I'll stay here and let the stretch. Inhale, exhale. So here, I look down, and then as I go down, I look up. Okay? So another little key point is when you're coming up, you're looking down on your forearms. And then as you go down, you're looking up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And then inhale. By looking up, what it does, it allows a greater stretch as you're going back down. So it's just a little simple little thing to do, but you can really get more out of it if you just look up just a little bit. It keeps your shoulders back, and you'll get more stretch on the forearms, and that's the key. So guys, that is the thumb up wrist curl. So guys, now I want to show you the hack squat. Now this is different than the 45-degree hack slide. With the 45-degree hack slide, your feet are up here so you're on your toes, your heels pressed together, and your legs are at 45-degree angles. And you go into a plie style squat, and you get really low. So that's a great exercise. This is just a regular hack squat, and Vince would have this on a lot of his programs. This is in volume 4. He has it written like this, so that it's a little different. And then you're gonna position your heels 14 inches apart with your toes 18 inches apart. Now ideally, you wanna come back as close to the machine as possible. But for those that have bad knees, or if you don't have the flexibility to get down low in that position, then you can bring your feet up to accommodate to what works best for you. I'm still recovering from a broken leg, so I can't get down. I used to get down all the way back here and squat as low with my butt touching almost the platform, and then coming back up. But for right now, I'm kind of limited, so I'm kind of in the halfway point here of the positioning. So for demonstration purposes, this is how I'm going to show you. But when you're doing it for real at home or wherever, you want to kind of see how far back you can get while still maintaining that nice low position. So just kind of work that, but always keep the same position on your feet. So your heels are going to be 14 inches apart, and your toes are going to be 18 inches apart. And again, so just vary and find out which position works best for you. So this is what it looks like. So you inhale as you go down, and you exhale as you come back up. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. I'll try to get just a little bit lower. I don't know if I can, but we'll try. But that's the idea. You want to try to get the heels as close to the machine as possible. Inhale, exhale, inhale. Right there. Man, just that alone, but man, so frustrating. But anyway, that's the idea, guys, is that you're keeping the heels apart 14 inches. The toes are going to be 18 inches apart. Get down as low as you possibly can. Again, if you don't have knee problems, you should be able to get all the way down, all the way back up. It's a great pump to the legs. For those of us that have knee problems or broken legs or whatever, just do the best you can. Find the range. Sometimes even coming up higher up onto the platform will allow you to get more flexibility and more range until you can eventually move your way back down the platform. And there you have it, guys. That is the hack squat. Hey guys, now I want to show you the power leg extension. Now this exercise, there's a lot of controversy about the leg extension. A lot of physical therapists and fitness experts, they'll say that this causes too much shearing force on the knee, and they'll say that the tibia drops down, and that just is not correct. What happens is that when you go up, if you go into a full extension, the tibia and the fibula kind of cross over at the top, and so that can cause a problem to the knee. So that's what we want to try to avoid. But the leg extension itself is a great exercise if done correctly, and this is how I learned it from Vince Gironda. And last year I broke my leg, and this is an exercise that's really helped my leg get stronger. So it's something I always do. I've been doing it for 30 years, haven't had any problems with it. So this is how you do it. You want to start, and the best thing you want to do is you want to have a bench like this. This is just a relatively cheap bench, but it doesn't have a back pad. A lot of the other high-end leg extensions are like a chair. They kind of have a back pad to it, and so you really can't maneuver yourself into a extension. So you want to have no back to this, and you want to be able to lie back. And so the way this one looks is you want to hold on to the sides here. You want to start leaning forward, and then you want to exhale. And as you exhale, you're going to come back into a full extension. And then you come in, you inhale, and you exhale. And so when you go back, you don't want to go into a full extension with your leg, just to avoid that top end part where the tibia and the fibula will actually cross over. So if you stay about 10 to 15 degrees off of that, then you'll have no problem to the knee. And so you exhale, and you want to get that full extension. Inhale, lean forward, exhale, and you hold for about 1 to 2 seconds at the top. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. So the key here is that you want to be able to lie back to get full extension of the leg. And then when you start, you want to be into that leaning position, and then you get more power as you go back. And so that's the power leg extension that I learned from Vince Gironda. All right?
Yep.
All right, guys, now I want to demonstrate the standing toe raise. Now, this one can be done on they actually have calf machines where they have the pads and you kind of stand on. They have it's its own machine, and you can do that. I don't have one of those machines. I like to use the Smith machine for this exercise. So it's real simple. You have a block of wood here, and you want the block to be just a little bit behind the bar itself. And so you want to keep it jacked just a little bit further back, just so you can get a good stretch of the calves. Then you get underneath the bar. Now, typically, just a key point, typically I would always do this barefoot, but just for the demonstration, I have very soft shoes, so you can use like really soft shoes like this that don't have much of a sole. If you have a shoe like a tennis shoe or a hard shoe like a cross trainer, it'll limit the range of motion, and you don't want to use those types of shoes. So I always recommend doing calf work in bare feet. But just for the demonstration, I don't feel like taking my shoes off right now, so we'll just say, just pretend my feet are bare. But anyways, I'm using very soft shoes, so I'll still be able to get the range that I'm looking for, but I do prefer doing this with my shoes off. But anyway, that's a little side note. So you want to go onto the block, and what you're going to do here is you're going to drop down into the stretch but you're going to go onto the ball, you're going to go up as high as you can on the big toes. So you're going to actually turn, you're bringing your heels in. So as you're coming up, you're going to almost like you're trying to touch your heels together, and then you're going to go down. You separate the feet, go all the way down to a full stretch as far as you can go, and then you're going to exhale, and you come up onto the big toes. You're going to turn in, and you're trying to touch your heels together, and then you go back down. You inhale, stretch, and then come up. You're going to go from the small toe, and then you work all the way up, put pressure on all the other toes until you get to the big toe, and then you bring your heels together. So you go down the opposite direction with the toes. So you're going from your big toe to the small toe, and then you go from the small toe all the way to the big toe, and then you turn in. And you come down, keep the legs straight, and then you come up, exhale, and then really crank on those big toes, and then come back down nice and soft. And so the key points here are when you're coming up is that you want to put all your pressure, so you're going from your small toes, and you're putting all the pressure all the way into the big toe. So you're going up, and then you're going to come back down the opposite fashion. You're going to you're putting all the pressure down onto your small toe, and then your heels stretch, and then you come back up. And so that's how you really develop those diamond calves. And it's also way more effective that way for developing the gastrocnemius, rather than just trying to go up and down like a lot of guys will do. They'll just get up here, and they just kind of bounce through the exercise, and that doesn't really do anything. You have to kind of get that engagement, so as you come up, you're pulling in up onto the big toes. So you have to get that bone support in order to really make those calves work. And so that's a great exercise. Guys, that is a standing toe raise. So now, guys, I'm going to show you the leg press toe raise, and you can use any standard leg press. This is a hack machine that can actually be converted into a leg press, which is kind of nice because it allows for this feature. And you're going to go on the balls of your feet, just like we would on any other calf exercise. Now, it's always recommended that you do calf work with the shoes off, but this one is probably one that you can keep your shoes on, especially if you have nice soft shoes, just because the plate itself and the amount of weight that you can actually use in this position, it can really tear up the bottom of your feet. So unless you have like a rubber pad or something that's going to protect the bottom of the feet, I would recommend using very soft shoes. So these are like almost like karate shoes, and they're really, really soft. So for this particular exercise, I like to use them, but all other calf exercises that I do with my shoes off and do it in bare feet. But this one just happens to work well with just a little bit of support on the feet so you don't tear up the bottom of your feet. So here, it's the same idea. You're going to come down into the stretch, and you're going to allow the carriage just to really pull on the calves, and then you're going to press up, and you're pressing onto your big toes. And so you bring your heels together, and you come back down to stretch. You exhale, go up onto the big toes, and then come back down, stretch, then up onto the big toe. Just allow the stretch here, and then right up onto the big toe. Inhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. So this particular exercise, if you kind of look at the position, it's very similar to the donkey calf raise. Personally, I like the donkey calf raise the best out of all calf exercises. This is a good one to do every once in a while. I like to do this one, especially when it's one of the programs that Vince has written down for me. But so I'll do it from time to time. It's a good one. And again, the idea is to get the stretch. And then as you come up, you're pressing right up into the big toes. So you're going to allow the bone support to really activate the calves here. If you just go up and down, you don't get much out of it. And when you want to turn, when you're going up on the big toe, you want to turn the feet so that the heels are together and you're pressing, so you're pressing almost into like a triangular shape. And so when you're going right up in there, you come down, you exhale. So this is a great exercise, and you can really load up a lot of weight on this one just because you're on a leg press machine, and it's a good angle, and so you can get a lot of leverage off this, and you can really get a great pump to the calves. Guys, this is the leg press toe raise. All right, guys, now I'm going to show you the hyperextension with using a weight. All you got to do is get into the hyperextension table, and on this particular table, we're not going to go horizontal at an angle, so this one's more of an angled position, so we're starting at about a 45-degree position here, and then we're going to hinge forward, go down and grab the weight, and then just pull it right up, and you come back to a full extension. So you go down, inhale, exhale as you come up, inhale, exhale as you come up, then inhale, and exhale. So you hold the end position for about 1 to 2 seconds, and the hyperextension table is going to vary. So for this one, I use the Cybex extension table. There are other ones that are horizontal that you go down at 90 degrees as well, and then come back up. Doesn't really matter what table you use, as long as you go down 90 degrees and come back to full extension. And that is the hyperextension with weight. So there you have it, guys. Those are the exercises for volume 4 of the Master Series. So if you don't have my book Invincible and would like to get one, you can go to my website at www.darylkerner.com, or you can go on to amazon.com and get a copy there. Guys, if you have any questions regarding today's video, and you can email me. You can find my email on my website at www.darylkerner.com. Guys, I want to thank you very much for watching. See you next time.